everything. They had their faces covered with ski-type masks.
Frankfort police released this surveillance video, hoping you can help them catch criminals.
Coming up, we'll tell you what two people ran into during their hike at the Red River Gorge this weekend.
This is something that they can get for free instead.
A warning for college graduates. Student loan scams are making the rounds. What to look for if you're looking for help with your debt.
This is WKYT News at 5:30.
Good evening to you. They had just closed tonight. Frankfort police are looking for two men they say broke into a restaurant and robbed the employees still there at gunpoint.
It happened just after midnight Sunday at the Little Caesars Pizza on Versailles Road in Frankfort. Kristen Kennedy takes a look at the surveillance video of the crime. It's our top story at 5:30.
They were terrified by these two guys.
Frankfort police say men busting through a back door during closing hours isn't unusual with late night robberies, and holding employees at gunpoint isn't necessarily either. But this robbery and this video show the criminals did one thing a little differently than others.
Generally, they're in and out very quick. They want to get their hands on the money and go. This seemed a little more thought out, a little more planned out.
Captain Rob Warfel says the pair spent about 20 minutes early Sunday inside the Little Caesars. You can see in the video they forced employees to the floor, held one at gunpoint while she opened the safe, put them all in the walk-in freezer, barricaded it with a prep table, and then ran off with cash and an employee's cell phone.
We don't have an age range on them or anything. They had their faces covered with ski-type masks, if you will. They were wearing gloves, pretty well covered up to try and conceal their identity.
Police haven't had any similar robberies recently, but they say they're not ruling out the possibility that these men are behind other crimes.
We actually used one of our canines to initiate a track, and he did fairly well tracking into a local neighborhood there, and then at that point he kind of lost the track.
The canine officers say did find the employee's cell phone and a small amount of cash that they think the robbers dropped when they were running away. In Frankfort, Kristen Kennedy, WKYT.
And again, police have a very limited description of the robbers. They say both were wearing coverings over their faces and hands. Lexington police are still looking for a man wanted for a shooting of a man several times last night. Neighbors heard shots fired on Honey J Court about 10:30 p.m. Police say the suspect was then seen running down Center Parkway. Police found the victim a short time later. He was taken to UK hospital in serious condition. Police only have a limited description of the suspect. They have not yet said what led up to the shooting.
Police in southern Kentucky have arrested a man accused of shooting and killing another man over the weekend. Our county-by-county coverage at 5:30 begins in Taylor County. Campbellsville police say 20-year-old Jorge Gavarte Ceramo shot the man at a home on Howell Street around 11 last night. That man was rushed to a nearby hospital where he died. His name has not yet been released. The alleged gunman has been charged with murder and burglary. And in Harlan County, a grand jury will not indict several officers involved in a deadly shooting last month. Police say a Lexington fire investigator shot and killed Mark Sawalf while they were searching for explosive trail cameras he had placed in the woods. He was originally arrested in June for the trail cameras, and he was supposed to help investigators track down the cameras, but police say Sawalf tried to escape and grabbed an officer's gun. And that's when they say the fire investigator shot him. Today, a grand jury voted not to indict any of the officers involved.
A couple going for a hike at the beautiful Red River Gorge got a big surprise when they were trying to head home this weekend. They called 911 after an unwanted visitor kept them away from their car. Mike Linden has that 911 call in a story that's new at 5:30.
It was just another typical Saturday in the Red River Gorge. That is until two hikers, while on the way back to their car, came across something a bit unusual.
Menifee 911, where's your emergency?
There's a really big bear on the trail, and we think that there's somebody kind of blocked by the bear on the outlook.
Just before 8 o'clock in the evening, two hikers spotted a black bear near the Chimney Top Recreation Area in the Red River Gorge in Wolfe County. The 911 call was routed to Menifee County.
My girlfriend was walking up and ran into a huge bear right before the outlook.
After a few minutes on the phone with 911, the bear eventually walked away. According to Daniel Boone National Forest officials, it's rare to see a bear as far north in Kentucky as the Red River Gorge. But they say the most likely reason why the bear was so close to the recreation area this weekend was to find food.
And the problem there is, there's a saying, a fed bear is a dead bear, because if a bear gets used to getting human food, it's going to potentially get more aggressive.
Ealing says the best way to keep yourself safe is to store your food away from where you sleep and at least 10 feet above the ground. In Wolfe County, Mike Linden, WKYT.
Ealing says if you do come across a bear while out hiking, to stay calm, keep your distance, and call 911. The weather we're having right now is a beautiful time to go to the gorge.
Yeah, a lot of people are going to be still out and about enjoying all of this, but if you look at the forecast, you would not be able to tell that fall is literally right around the corner.
It is, and we're tracking some warmer air kind of going reverse rolling into the region. Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey's trying to keep track of all of it.
Yeah, we are. Let's call it a summer hangover that just rolls on here into the first couple of weeks of fall. And to be honest with you, I think as we go into later September, we may cool it down a little bit. It can't get any hotter than what it's going to get later this week. But overall, I think all the way up through October may average above normal. So I don't think it's going to be necessarily a cool fall by any stretch of the imagination. Right now, it is warm high pressure that is on top of the Ohio Valley, Tennessee Valley, area of low pressure to our east, but sandwiched in between, a front to the northwest, a front to the east, is the good old bluegrass state of Kentucky. Look what we've got for you. Defender Radar Network, nada. Nothing showing up, not expecting a whole lot. Let's fast forward into tomorrow. Did you like today's weather? Chances are we're going to repeat as we go into the afternoon. Upper 50s, touch of fog in the morning. Look at that lunchtime temperature. A lot of upper 70s will show up. And through the course of tomorrow afternoon, middle 80s into much of central and eastern Kentucky with upper 80s just to our west. Overall, though, it's still going to look good out there. Just going to feel a little toasty. And from there, the numbers will drop off quickly after sunset. Tomorrow evening, we'll be dropping it through the 60s into most of central and eastern Kentucky. What about this evening? Glad you asked that question. 77 before sunset, upper 60 showing up by 11 o'clock. Guys, coming up in a few minutes, we'll let you know if tonight is a repeat performer for the dense fog that we had this morning. We'll see you in a little over 5 minutes.
We'll see you then, Chris. Thank you. A southeastern Kentucky officer is being praised tonight for policing with her heart. Over the weekend, Hazard Police arrested a woman for public intoxication at the annual Black Gold Festival. That person had a 12-year-old daughter waiting in line for a ride. Instead of taking the little girl to the police station to wait for social services to pick her up, Officer Jessica Cornett took her on all the rides at the festival.
So I just started watching the kid. I went around with the ex and I said, I'll wait for you over here. But she got on the tilt world and she's sitting in that ride by herself, and she's sitting there looking at me and she was crying.
Well, Hazard Police Chief Minor Allen says numerous people took to social media to praise Cornett for her efforts. That was wonderful.
Very sweet. Student loan debt. It's a growing problem in this country. Some college students turn to businesses, though, that promise to lower that monthly payment. But authorities say some companies don't deliver, and students find out their loans were never paid. Like thousands of other college students, Amelia Manny began her career digging out of debt.
Just over $100,000.
$100,000?
Yep.
But then a company called United Advisors Group offered to lower her monthly payments by hundreds of dollars.
So this is like the whole agreement.
Amelia signed the contract, but $1,500 later, she got some shocking news from her student loan provider.
That not a single thing has gone through and that my loans are actually in deferment.
We're looking into a story about the number of consumer complaints against your company.
Oh, no, I need you guys out of here.
After calls and emails went unanswered, a reporter found people working at the company that took Amelia's money inside a Southern California office building.
You guys need to get up before I call the police.
The guy in charge couldn't get rid of the reporter fast enough.
How big of a problem is this?
This is a huge problem right now, not just for families in Massachusetts, but all across this country, and one that is going to continue to grow.
Massachusetts Attorney General Maura Healey says borrowers can negotiate lower monthly payments on their own. The government also provides free options to consolidate or lower payments on federal student loans.
Because this is something that they can get for free instead of paying some shady operator to do, who at the end of the day isn't actually going to deliver and is only going to put them in a worse place.
The AG's offices helped Amelia get a full refund.
I definitely would not go through any of those companies, no matter what they say to you.
A lesson learned. The federal government says warning signs a student loan debt relief company might be trying to scam you. Pressure to pay upfront fees, promises of loan forgiveness, demands of signing a power of attorney, or requests for personal information like your student aid PIN number.
Still ahead on WKYT at 5:30, donating blood pays off big for one Kentuckian. Why he's driving off from the Kentucky Blood Center with the keys to a new truck.
I'm Bill Bryant. A top aide to Governor Matt Bevin is leaving to join the presidential campaign of Donald Trump. And a group cancels a congressional debate because the incumbent won't be there. The bottom line is on the way.
Keep up with the latest news on WKYT.com. Join the conversation on Twitter and become a part of the WKYT Facebook family.
Governor Matt Bevin's spokeswoman is resigning to take a job of Donald Trump's campaign.
And a debate featuring the two people running for Kentucky's 6th district congressional seat has been canceled. Bill Bryant tells us why in the bottom line.
Good evening. 50 days now until America chooses its next president, and the polls show a tight race. Today, Governor Matt Bevin's spokeswoman resigned to take a position as the Deputy Communications Director for Republican nominee Donald Trump. Jessica Ditto will work out of the campaign's New York headquarters. With the first debate now just a week away, the rhetoric is tough. Democratic Vice Presidential candidate Tim Kaine said on Face the Nation that the idea of Donald Trump as Commander-in-Chief scares him to death. President Obama urged those at the Congressional Black Caucus dinner to go vote and to work hard to get out the vote for Hillary Clinton. But Donald Trump himself was active on Twitter after the explosion in New York's Chelsea neighborhood, saying under Obama and Clinton, Americans have experienced more attacks at home than victories abroad. He went on to say it's time to change the playbook. The Kentucky League of Women Voters has canceled a 6th district congressional debate. Bluegrass Politics tweets it's because Republican incumbent Congressman Andy Barr said he won't be there. The forum had been set for Sunday, October 6th. Barr is facing Democratic challenger Nancy Jo Kemper in the November election. Barr appeared for league forums in earlier races, including a televised debate in 2014 from EKU. The thin gray line is looking to increase its ranks. People interested in joining the Kentucky State Police can apply to be part of a recruit class through the agency's website. State Police are taking applications for the next academy class through the close of business on October 14th. The requirements are spelled out on the web. And Corbin officials are about to crack down on people who mow their grass but then let the clippings go into the street or into the city's drains. The Times-Tribune says fines of up to $250 per occurrence can be levied to keep the grass from causing problems. That includes drain backups, even some street flooding. Bill Bryant, WKYT.
A Kentucky blood donor is now the proud new owner of a brand new Toyota truck.
Anyone 18 and older who registered to give blood with the Kentucky Blood Center from June 1st through August 31st was automatically entered into the drawing. And the lucky winner, Larry Taylor.
I came in to give blood. It's an added perk, obviously, but it's something I've been doing for 30 years now. I've been donating blood, and it's a great opportunity to help other people.
The Blood Center says there were 21,000 names in the drawing.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey.
Get a little more of me than you thought you would this go around. We are dealing, though, with kind of the tale of 2 days across central and eastern Kentucky. It's a day that is ending with a lot of sunshine across most of the area, and it actually looks very, very good out there. Yeah, it's a little warm still, but it's technically, I guess, still summer, and some leaves beginning to show a little bit of fall color. Now, that's how the day is ending. Here's how the day started, and this is our tower cam from here at the station on Winchester Road. Hamburg Pavilion in the distance. Watch how slowly the fog started to burn away, and by 10 it was still clinging to our skies out there. Will we see a repeat performer tomorrow morning? The hour-by-hour fog forecast is in, and it is not as widespread across central Kentucky as what we had this morning, though it has some pockets out there where you can get under 2 or 3 miles. But look at southern and southeastern Kentucky, under a mile in some of these areas that had more rain than the rest of us did over the past couple of days. Whatever's out there in the morning will quickly give way to sunshiny skies. So maybe some locally dense fog, but right now it shouldn't be as widespread as what we had this morning. Getting near those waterways, different story. Defender Radar Network, nothing to worry about. As you're out and about tomorrow, that morning fog will be around in at least patches. By the afternoon, It is warm with a little sunshine. Wednesday, middle of the work week. The last full day of summer is feeling the part, although it technically shouldn't be nowhere near as warm as upper 80s. Summer rolling on into Thursday as we say hello to the fall on your calendar. Eastern Kentucky, you got that much of a chance for a little stray shower or two. And for the majority of the area, we got that much of a chance over the next week to pick up on beneficial rains. I could see a little rain on Thursday, Eastern Kentucky. Area-wide, maybe Saturday. Small chance right now, better chance on Monday. And all told, over the next week, the models are not impressed with the rain possibility. So if you're out this evening, quick drop in thermometers, and by tomorrow morning, upper 50s to low 60s with some patchy fog. By tomorrow afternoon, we say hello to the middle 80s yet again. Say hello to the upper 80s, maybe a 90. That's the first full day of fall on Friday, and we push close to 90 degrees. Could be a late day shower or thunderstorm on Saturday. Small chance right now, a little dip into Sunday and Monday behind a couple of cold fronts. You're looking at that thinking 90 on the first day of fall. It has to be a record, right? Well, records this time of year are still deep into the 90s. So we've been there before.
At least we've got a good forecast for Saturday and the game.
Right now it looks pretty good, yeah. It's going to be windy, though, with a little weak front in here.
Okay.
There's a collision on Nicholasville Road at Lexington Green Circle. It has one lane of outbound Nicholasville Road blocked, and of course traffic's backed up from Commonwealth Stadium to about the mall right now because of that crash. Drive times to Versailles 13 minutes, Georgetown 16, and Richmond 24. Now back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Don. Just ahead, the Cats going for their second win this weekend.
Trying to make it back-to-back victories and get that first win in the SEC, but Mark Stoops has a lot of question marks with his team heading into a matchup with South Carolina. Stay with us. That's next on WKYT. It was not pretty in a lot of ways, but the Wildcats getting a much-needed win Saturday, a game they had to have. As Lee K. Howard reports, it was a win the Cats can learn from and hopefully build on.
The third week was the charm for the Kentucky football team. The Wildcats gave up 42 points to New Mexico State, but scored 62 to earn their first win of the season.
It's not exactly how we had it drawn up, but any victory is a good victory. There's a lot of very good things we did in special teams and on offense. And defensively, there's a lot of things that are fixable, and there's some that are work in progress.
One of those areas that is still a work in progress is the defensive secondary.
You can't give up big plays. You can't, you know, and just the first touchdown alone is enough just to piss me off all week, you know. So, you know, it's just not all right, and that's just one that shouldn't happen.
Drew Barker is listed as the starter on this week's depth chart despite leaving the New Mexico State game with that back injury. But Mark Stoops said today that he still expects backup Steven Johnson to play against South Carolina no matter who starts the game.
You know, we will see how it goes. You know, we'll see. I'll see how healthy it is. It's hard to talk about hypotheticals right now. I have no idea how healthy Drew is going to be and what he's going to look like this week. So I was just asked, do I anticipate Steven playing? And the answer is yes, I do.
The Wildcats now turn their attention back to the SEC in South Carolina, and Stoops says his guys are doing a better job of playing under pressure.
These kids, they care. They want to do right. You know, and, you know, with that, they have to grow up. They have to take the criticism. We all have to take the criticism. It goes with the territory. You know, and those guys got to understand, you want to go play in the arena, then deal with it.
In Lexington, Lee K. Howard, WKYT.
Thank you, Lee K. Kentucky will now try to make it 2 in a row. South Carolina coming into Commonwealth Stadium Saturday, 7:30 kickoff on the SEC Network. The Cats have won 2 out of 3 over the Gamecocks under Mark Stoops, the last 2 in a row. And then it'll be the #1 team in the country the following Saturday. Prime time slot, Cats in the Crimson Tide, down at Bryant-Denny Stadium in Tuscaloosa on October 1st. It will start at 7 on ESPN. Mark Stoops really calling out his defense today, and one player in particular. We'll have that in the next half hour. Stay with us. We'll be right back.